I want to talk to you about the fourth industrial revolution, part two, beyond face to face.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me on this all-new Triple Effect broadcast. If you are seeking self-awareness, interested in personal development, or even professional development, the Triple Effect is right for you. Our theme is based around the universal law of balance and polarity. What we say, do, and feel will produce our best behavior, challenge status quo, or even distribute our energy via vibrations through time and space. This is your place for connection and reflection. You can always learn more at www.changethegame1000.org or pick up my book, 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better. You can pick that up at Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, or even at my own site, 8waystobe10timesbetter.info. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome. This is Rashid Hill of the Triple Effect. Today, I want to talk to you about the fourth industrial revolution, part two, beyond face to face. Yes, we've had this conversation before, and I love discussing current topics that continue the theme of the Triple Effect. As you know, the Triple Effect is about the law of balance and polarity. And so without having this COVID edition of the Triple Effect, then we wouldn't really be continuing that theme. Because when there's a pandemic, then people think differently. People are a little bit uneasy. And so we understand uneasy to be translated into dis-ease. And a dis-ease takes you out of balance. And when you're out of balance, you're not in the flow. And so with the Triple Effect, I would love to get your attention for a few minutes. And let's talk about ways to get you back into balance. And today, as part two of the fourth industrial revolution episode, I want to talk to you about beyond face to face, because many of us are in the remote work status. And being in that status, there's a trust factor that has to be in place. And when that trust factor is in place, then everything works smooth. But up until the point of the COVID-19 or coronavirus, then many leaders, managers, directors, and bosses out there didn't see the benefit and didn't see how they could trust an employee to work outside of the traditional workspace. So, hey, I'm Rashid Hill, and it is a pleasure to be with you today. I want to kick this off and really dive into some of the key factors that contribute to beyond face-to-face in this fourth industrial revolution. One of the key aspects that we're going to really talk about is a new development, a new player of sorts in the game of video conferencing or video collaboration. This online platform that broadcasts your team's, board meetings, your one-on-one meetings, any collaboration that you have. Now it's online. Now a lot of the struggling online companies that I know. I guess I asked the question: how many of you are teleworking? How many of you do remote work? How many of you are part of the gig economy? Because that's really what's been set into motion, and I would say accelerated more so than just set into motion, because a lot of laws and events have occurred that people were in jeopardy of losing benefits, and a lot of them were losing work, and a lot of companies had to make some new decisions based upon new laws. In California, I know one just recently was about the gig economy, where if you were an independent contractor, you were in jeopardy of being considered an employee under the new law. And so they were fighting that, because an artist, person that actually paints, or a sculptor, if you do that for a living, or a poet, if you do that for a living, or a DJ, or a taxi driver, or Uber driver, think about that. If you are literally an independent contractor under an Uber contract or a Lyft contract, and now a new law comes out and says, if you hire this person to do a job as the Uber company, then you need to hire them as an employee and pay them benefits and put them on payroll. Wow, that is a game changer until coronavirus showed up. So, hey, let's get into it, because I don't want to keep you a long time, and I'm definitely not going to drag this out for more than 30 to 40 minutes, because this is an exciting topic. And as you know, if you followed anything that I do, you know that the future of work is a strategic move in the world today that is deeply the result of and the answer to the fourth industrial revolution, right? And so with that being said, you have to get in position in order to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented before you, because the information that is presented, the information that I give you, is based upon what's coming, based upon what's here, based upon how you can position yourself so that you don't get left behind in this midst of this revolution that's going on. It's happening right around you. You may not be aware of it, but it's happening. So when we talk about beyond face-to-face under this fourth industrial revolution, then the future of work is an imperative understanding of the future of work is absolutely critical to your survival. And when you understand what these companies are doing in order to survive, they're either putting your future at jeopardy, or they're giving you an insight to what you can do to prepare yourself so that you can take advantage of some of the opportunities that are coming. So in face-to-face, we're going to talk about beyond face-to-face. Why? Because you're not in the office anymore, and somebody has to trust you to do your job outside the office. What are you going to do? Are you going to take advantage of that and do the things that you couldn't do before? It is interesting and at times alarming at the speed that companies are offering online video and video conferencing and collaboration, how they have reflected what I call the retail store idea of attracting more customers. Retail has used the freemium sales model forever. And just recently, maybe within the last few years or so, online marketing started doing it as well. So some may think that companies are losing money by offering this free video conferencing services. Well, that's certainly not the case yet. They are showing us something very interesting, though. If you can switch your free service offering total attendees or hosts from 8 or 50 limit, now you take it all the way to 100 or unlimited attendees, then I'm thinking, you could have offered that to me all along. Yet, in the short term, we as the consumers will win big. But in the long term, it's free today, but it's a fee tomorrow. So you need to pay attention to that, because a lot of this is going to rest upon your shoulders. You have to pay attention, because when that free goes away, then there's a fee involved, and you need to jump on that fee and understand what you're going to be paying after the free goes away. Do you ever look at your credit account in comparison? Now, let me help you understand where I'm going with this. Do you ever look at your credit account? So let's say you go to a furniture store, you move to a new house, you go to a furniture store, and they say, hey, you're going to have no interest for 6 to 12 months. Let's say 12 months. No interest. You can buy all the furniture you want, no interest for 12 months. You're like, yo, that is a great deal. And it is. So yes, it is. Buy as much as you want, special today. No interest for 12 months. Then at 12 months, they add all the interest up that you missed and slide it into your new payment. See, you see the monthly payment go up, but you're expecting that since you didn't pay off the full balance in that 12-month period. But what you don't expect is now to be shouldering that back interest for the past 12 months. And when the video conferencing, it's the same concept. It won't be that obvious because you're getting a free upgrade for 4, 6, 12 months. That's awesome. You can enjoy that premium membership with that full service, customer service, unlimited options. You can enjoy that 4, 6, or 12 months. We all want that and should surely take advantage of these great deals for the time that we have them. Yet, don't sleep on the actual charge for the premium service when the pandemic period is over. That's what you need to pay attention to. Just as you buy that furniture with no interest for 12 months, at that 13th month, if you ain't paid it off, then all that interest is going to pile up and they're going to slip it into your monthly payment. So be careful about what you're looking at with these particular unlimited options and the premium memberships and all that. Great programs, great systems, great offerings, but pay attention to what you're going to get. So let's talk about what keeps my attention more than Zoom fees, the Future of Work series. And today we're going to talk about part 2, beyond face-to-face. As I like to think about the last year, and even during a leadership course, I think back in 2017, I was in Rhode Island, and I went to an advanced management course with the Navy, and there was government agencies that are not favoring telework. So we had this project that we did in the class. And so what I found out was some government agencies allow local field commands under the Department of Defense that are outside of DC, out here in California or in Colorado or around the country, outside of the DC area. They allow those field agencies to determine if their employees can or cannot telework. And so in my advanced management course in Rhode Island, we did a project that spoke about incentives and benefits and recruitment promotions. So what kind of promotions, what kind of incentives, if we were in charge of, and most of us were management and all that. So we did have some experience with, hiring qualified talent and doing the, the recommendations and the interviews and seeking qualified talent and going through that whole hiring process. And so what I found out was some of the agencies did not necessarily favor telework as a benefit or a recruitment tool. So what are some of the recruitment incentives that we as hiring managers would like to offer our potential hires, right? When we're recruiting, if we could have a bag of tools that we could use as recruitment incentives, promotions, benefits, what would we have? And so that was one of the questions that we had to go ahead and create this project on. So some folks from DLA, the Defense Logistics Agency, explained that some of them were allowed to telework and some others were not. So it's very interesting that if you were under an agency in Colorado, the supervisors there maybe did not favor telework. But if you were in an agency over in Italy, then they allowed you to telework. There was a lady, she was a spouse of a military member. She was in the class and she was full-time telework. So what the benefit of that I thought was amazing was the fact that she was doing IT and she could do a lot of that remotely. So when her husband PCS, or he had to, travel based on military orders to another location, duty station, she didn't have to look for a new job because she continued being a employee or a telework employee, a remote employee of the agency, Defense Logistics Agency, which was great. So I said, wow, you know what? Why can't we implement that at the Navy where I work? Whereas it could save a lot of headache. And so we did some trials and literally we proved that our people could actually telework and be productive in our particular organization. So I thought that was very awesome because the lady that was working there and was full-time telework, their organization had mastered the concept of beyond face-to-face in my conception of what beyond face-to-face is. But what about others that have the ability within their organizations, the DoD, federal government, or even commercial companies, that just don't like the idea of an employee that's on the clock being out of sight of the boss. What about those agencies that have a distrust of employees not being inside the cubicle when they walk by? What about the supervisor that feels when they call or email a person that is on remote work, when they believe, like literally, I've heard this, they believe that you should respond to every email or every call immediately. And if they don't hear from you within that 5-minute or 3-minute period, they insist that telework doesn't work, or you're not working on telework, or you're putting telework in jeopardy. So this is the thought pattern. This is a type of mentality that a lot of agencies actually have to contend with, especially in the federal government, because you have people that do not understand there's a trust factor in being a advanced manager. In this high-tech world, in this new era, there is going to have to be some adjustments to your leadership style. So here's my response to this type of leadership, a toxic, negative leadership that's just not educated on the new principles of supervision. COVID-19 has done the necessary for your feelings. Get over it. What you are not willing to consider, or if you have trust issues with your employees being away from the traditional workspace, as of March 16, 2020, you were obligated, given a direct order actually, to socially distance your whole department staff from the normal workplace. So if you had any problems, any issues with people teleworking, guess what? Now you don't have a choice. So think of the silver lining there of this whole COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. We are all thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? I can't go into work. I won't be able to perform at this level. I may not have all of the, amenities that I need. I may not be able to collaborate in person like I used to. But guess what? There are people that didn't understand the power of remote work. There were people that didn't know that you could be just as productive or more productive. There were people that maybe been late every single day, but now that lateness is wiped out. There are people that maybe had to take off and go to their kids' school for different reasons. Maybe they had to go pick up their spouse. Maybe they had one car and they had to go to school and pick up somebody at work over here and had these different obligations. But guess what happened? All that stopped. And so the benefits that's piled on, now there's no excess gas being used. There's a level of relaxation when you're doing your work now. You don't have to jump up and get dressed up every single day and fight traffic and be stressed out. Think of the benefits, the silver lining to beyond face-to-face. Now, you don't have to be conflicted as a leader, as a supervisor, as a manager. You don't have to be conflicted about whether or not the person is being productive, because they are showing you work gets done no matter where you are. The silver lining on this pandemic is that it did mobilize the lack of internal fortitude of some leaders to accept what is coming at warp speed, and no sector will be exempt. Yes, as I like to remind everybody, the fourth industrial revolution is the reservoir for technologies like automation, robotics, RPA, robotic process and automation, 4 and 5G, AR, augmented reality, and anticipated intelligence, not just artificial intelligence, anticipated intelligence as well, M2M, machine-to-machine learning, digital process automation, and of course, distributed ledger technology, otherwise known as blockchain. These are the things that are captured within the realm of Industry 4.0, and they're being utilized to this day. And this pandemic, this coronavirus, this COVID-19 was the tip of the scale. It was what was the impetus that kicked and accelerated our understanding of what we need to do in this particular revolution. And it's a new era. Remote work is the new normal. It was being proposed. It had started. It was in flow, but people didn't want to latch on and do the right thing. And so something happened that was beyond their control. And now we all are remote workers. We all are part of the gig economy. And we all have to get used to this. So how do we do that though? Technology is your friend. We are in the midst of the greatest technological advancement that our world has ever known. Yet many agencies are operating with the head in the sand. Why do they have their head in the sand? Because they don't want to accept the fact that things are changing. There is a Gen Y, there's a Gen 2020, there's a Gen Z. Industry 4.0 has arrived along with the millennials, Gen Y, Gen 20, Gen Z. And there might be others out there that I just have not come across yet, but I'm working on it. There's generations in the workplace that cross over into 3 or 4 different types of generations. And that is an important piece of this particular workforce puzzle. This generation has taken a new approach to what is important in a work environment. Reports show, and experts of the future of work say, that in this new era, we will experience more remote work, or the gig economy revolution. And guess what? The coronavirus has just accelerated the desire to work alone or work from home. Social distancing is the essence of remote work, or the fuel for the gig economy. More people will now keep their distance and increase the skills by using distance learning more than before. Getting training from more traditional platforms like Udemy, Thinkific, Teachable, and even Kajabi, or even Adobe Connect, with a high-tech twist, will be the norm. Yet, the real excitement of our times has brought video chat and social webinars out of the shadows, out of the playground, and now directly mainstream, even offering high-quality premium option video conference and collaboration platforms for teams. Some of the big winners in this new era, this new normal, currently are, yes, you got it right, Zoom is actually the #1 platform. Slack is another one, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, used to be Google Hangouts. We got Skype for Business, and now Verizon just bought Blue Jeans video conferencing platform. So everybody wants to get in on the video conferencing, video collaboration platforms. So who are the real winners and beyond face-to-face? Well, let's look. Zoom, as we know, continues to boom. I read that in 2018, the forecast for why video conferencing was fast growing, they said basically it was because of the cloud-based solutions that were being offered, which gave us a little more space where we didn't take up all the space on our desktops. It was a way that we could continue, video is definitely taking up more space than audio or in Word documents and so on and so forth. So just based on space, people opted to utilize the video conferencing apps and platforms because they didn't have to save that on their desktop. Well, now we know it's a direct result of our shifting workplace. We're not in the office anymore. So we need a way to communicate. We need a way to be productive and secure, right? So remote work right now, in this day and time, at this volume, which I'll talk about in a minute, is due to social distancing. The growing adoption of cloud-based video conferencing solutions in 2018 was primarily driven by the market growth. The benefits offered by the cloud video conferencing solutions over traditional solutions, such as scalability and flexibility and cost effectiveness, are the major factors driving the software market. That was estimated in 2018. But here in 2020, they didn't anticipate the COVID-19 effect. Zoom is your #1 platform today. Zoom started out as just a fun platform. And they had no intentions on being some mega, major company platform where you had these business meetings happening. But since it's such an easy platform to use, it just happened naturally, which is a great thing. I applaud them. I think they're great. And I love the fact that their stocks, when I first looked at them a couple of months ago, there was around 100, 110. Now they're over 160. So it's really per share. So it's a really, it's a great deal that these guys have done. So Zoom has increased its membership. Let me give you a little background on what they're doing and where they're at now. And I'm going to talk about other platforms as well. But Zoom has increased its membership by over 700% and growing every single month since March 2020. The 700% was registered in March 2020. Zoom reported 10 million users in December 2019. In March 2020, they had 200 million active users. As of April 25th, they have 300 million active users on their platform. Active users, that means somebody is on their platform every single day. 300 million every day. And the 100 million came after some concern was raised from users that the security wasn't enough to stop hackers from Zoom booming their broadcast. And there was some concern that proprietary information discussed by customers on their platform wasn't protected. They have since updated their platform. They've encrypted the video conference, and even I'm using Zoom right now, and I see that there's an encryption button right there, and it says that information is being encrypted, so that's pretty cool. They are planning to launch Zoom 5.0 very soon with some additional security measures. So pretty much that same ease of getting your information up and running on Zoom is still there. And in the background, boom, they've had the security level that you were looking for. Encrypted data, your data is saved. You have MP4 video, MP3 audio that's saved, and you can use that anytime and upload it on different platforms. So it's pretty awesome what Zoom has done. Like I said, the numbers is crazy. So we also have Slack. So we know about Slack. Let me give you a quick view of Slack and what they're up to. Slack, let me find Slack. So just so you know, let's do this. So Slack, let me show you this. All right. So right here we have Slack, right? And I think you know Slack. You've seen their platform. You understand their platform. And Slack brings teams together wherever you are. And so I'm using Zoom, so no need to really dive into Zoom because pretty much, I mean, we got 300 million people using it every day. I think we all probably know what they do. But just to give you an idea of Slack, Slack is definitely, it's a online collaboration tool that remote teams can stay productive, globally, no matter where they are. Secure platform, very organized. The colors are nice. The setup is nice. It's very easy to use as well. One of the things about Slack that I do like is that Slack has integrations with probably all the major players. Slack has integrations with Zoom. So you can go into Zoom, you can click on your Slack, and you can actually upload and start your particular chat or meeting inside Zoom, but using your Slack platform. You can do that with Microsoft Teams. You can do that with Google Hangouts. So Slack is integrated with all of them. And you can, I think Hootsuite, you could do it as well. So yeah, I mean, some great stuff there. And let's see who else we have. And we have WebEx. So Slack is a great platform. I personally like WebEx from Cisco because I've used it in the past, and they've upgraded it tremendously, where it's really easy to use. Um, they have uh, great pricing, very comparable to the others. They have great team collaboration settings. The format is really good, looks very crisp, looks very clean, very corporate. As you know, Cisco is more of a security um, equipment, security software provider. So WebEx is just in addition to their offerings in the bigger picture. But with that being said, they have the background, they have the history, they have the infrastructure to support the growth and handle upgrading their systems to take on pretty much any of the players out there. And we're going to talk about Facebook later. Microsoft Teams obviously is a big player in the game as well. As you can see, safe, secure, free. So one of the things that Microsoft Teams used as their tagline of sorts is security, because they knew that Zoom had some issues with their security levels, and they had hackers that were pretty much taking advantage of that. So many people on the platform, boom, hackers come running, things start to look a little weird. I've heard some nightmare stories about hackers that jumped in on some Zoom broadcasts. So it's not a fun thing to do. But even with Toastmasters, our club, we use Zoom as well. And it works great. And fortunately, we haven't been Zoom boomed or bombed with some type of weirdness from a hacker. So right now, this is Microsoft Teams, great collaboration tool, hub for teamwork. If you have Microsoft 365, then this probably is a good tool for you. You can obviously use it anywhere, and it works wonders. It's a great platform. They have, I think, free and different types of pricing set up for what they're offering right now. Okay, so that is Microsoft Teams. That's Slack. And let me get back over here because I want to give you a little more information on what else we're working with here. All right. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about the Slack platform, what they do, what they offer, and how they compare. Talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams, some of their statistics, some of their numbers. Google Meet or Google Hangouts, we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about WebEx, just to give you some insight to what's really going on. So Zoom, like I said, over 700% in the last couple of months. They're adding about 100 million subscribers per month, but they're mostly unpaid subscribers. Slack, which has increased its membership from 10 to 12.5 million in 6 days. And this was in March. And they don't let out their numbers so often. So in March, in 6 days, they had reported they went from 10 to 12.5 million in 6 days as far as membership on their platforms. And reports show that Slack has the most conversions from free to paid memberships. That's pretty interesting. That's compared to Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So think about that for a second. It's one thing to have members under your free program, but it's another thing to have memberships, paid memberships. So it's basically Slack is saying, look, we have people that come on our platform, they try it out, they like it, and then they go on to the paid portion of their membership. Slack does have more integrations to link up on leading social collaboration platforms like Zoom and Microsoft Teams, like Google Hangouts. So these are some of the platforms that you can actually integrate your Slack profile and go ahead and converge within these other platforms. And that's something that is unique about Zoom, because Zoom is kind of like the the AT&T or Southwest Bell of telecommunications or video conferencing. Everybody can jump onto the Zoom platform through APIs and through their back office and make their other programs.
With millions of people being forced to stay home to help stop the spread of COVID-19, many have found creative ways to virtually stay social. Happy hours, trivia nights, birthday parties, and Zoom, one of dozens of video conferencing services, has risen to the top thanks to intense separation measures and a profound resonance with this new social distancing culture.
I think it's the Steve Jobs phrase that he used to talk about when he described products. It just works.
When using Zoom, it's much more pleasant and also more easy to have it be a conversation.